Good Morning Wilmington is powered by DART, Delaware's transit service. Moving forward.
Good morning, Wilmington. Good morning, Wilmington. I say good morning, Wilmington. Wake up, y'all. Come on. Have a great.
Welcome back to Good Morning Wilmington. It's your main man, Big I, the talking to tell Mr. DETV. And as you can see, I have a very, very special guest here, a good friend, a brother from another mother, Brian DiSabatino, president of EDIS. How you doing, Brian?
Great to be here, I. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me, man. And the reason that we have Brian on today is because he has this amazing event going on. I don't even want to just call it an event because it's like it's a way of life, right? Can I say that?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. VetFest is really, you know, what started out as a simple fundraiser has turned into something amazing. I like to tell people it's really a symbol about how this community can actually come together to solve a problem.
Right, and what problem is that?
Veteran suicide. You know, it's a very unpopular topic to talk about because of the stigma that surrounds it.
Right.
But we've discovered through VetFest itself that the more we talk about it, the higher the probability we are to be able to fight this problem and cure it.
Yeah, because we're talking about September being a suicide prevention month, and it's an amazing time that this event is going on at Whitehall, correct?
Yeah, in the town of Whitehall.
In the town of Whitehall. Now, let's talk about maybe some of the reasons before we get to the actual event of a soldier suicide.
Yeah.
Because it is the reason why we're here, the reason that we're going to be at VetFest.
Yeah, you know, it's really sad to say that our veterans, those who have served, are between 70 and 80% more likely to die from suicide than those who have not.
Right.
And that, for us, is catastrophic.
Yeah.
You know, we believe the folks that have organized the VetFest and get involved in this cause understand the basic principle that if 1% of our country is going to stand up voluntarily between us and harm, then the other 99% of us have an obligation to stand behind them.
Right.
And people in this community stand behind their veterans in a lot of ways.
Right.
Some of the ways is the housing shortage.
Right.
Some of it is food scarcity.
Right.
Some of it is employment. For us, it's all about combating the epidemic of veteran suicide.
That's right, and you are also a parent of someone, of your child is in the armed services, such as I am. My son's in the Army, and your son is?
In the Army also.
All right, and now when your son enlisted, right, how did you feel?
Well, I was, you know, I think like any parent, I was really excited and really proud of the decision and the selfless decision. But I'll tell you, he went to the Citadel, and on that very first day, we sat in an auditorium, and the kids left the room and it left the parents, and it struck me at that moment, oh my gosh, like what went from this like super high emotion patriotism went to, oh, the reality of for centuries, parents have been donating their children to a cause.
Yeah. And it's different. It's different from the kids sign up. Oh, you're going to the military, and then you sit there and you're like, wait a minute. It's like it hits you right then and there.
Yeah, there was an expression that somebody used as in a book that I was reading about World War II. The expression was, "The people that die in war are the sons of mothers."
Wow.
And it changes the perspective completely. From the soldier, the male and the female soldier, to the parent, from the husband or wife to the spouse, to the parent to the child.
Right.
That everybody, the entire family is engaged in this. So when we talk about suicide, every single year we lose about 6,000 veterans to this epidemic.
Wow.
The real wow is the downstream implication that comes out of this.
Right.
The data suggests to us that from 6,000 deaths, there's a societal impact of around 900,000, right? And what happens is when somebody in your family dies of suicide, suddenly the rest of the family becomes susceptible to the same epidemic.
Right.
When somebody at work, ignore the economic impact, but the emotional and psychological impact in the workplace becomes astronomical.
Yeah.
By the way, I said 900,000, 90,000.
90,000.
90,000. So this is a real world problem that we have got to interrupt.
Right. And interrupting that with VetFest, what does that look like for you?
Well, we like to say that VetFest is the paradox, right? In some respects, the topic is sad, it's tragic, it's suicide.
Right.
It's us being able to use this event as a modality to educate the community that breaks the stigma. If we can talk about suicide with overt language, then perhaps people can leave VetFest understanding that it's okay to ask your neighbor, your friend, your coworker, are you okay?
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
Just break the stigma.
Yeah.
The other part is it's joyful.
Right.
We have a lot of fun at VetFest.
Yeah, I saw. I mean, we did it live last year. I saw.
So, we'll have about 500 people running in our 5K and 10K. So the morning begins at 10 a.m. with a parade. Right. The parade has everyone from...
Through the town of Whitehall.
Through the town of Whitehall.
Gotta love that.
So, it starts out, the families of the Gold Star families, the families of the decedents of suicide come down first. They're followed up by the National Guard marching band. Yeah. And the band that sort of brings up the rear to send us out in a really celebrative way is the Delaware State University marching band.
DSU, gotta love DSU.
So we're really excited about that. After the parade at 10, the 5K and the 10K go out, and the family walk about at 11. And at 12 o'clock...
Family walk.
Family walk.
Family walk, okay.
So we encourage families and children and to come to enjoy the day, or to maybe walk in honor of your member of the military.
That's right, that's right.
And then at 12 o'clock, we have two great bands, one going off about 12:30, one going off about 3. At 12 o'clock, a group called the Angry Young Band is doing a Billy Joel tribute.
Okay.
And at 3 o'clock, Club Fred, who is an incredible local group of musicians led by Fred Dawson.
Okay.
They give away millions of dollars worth of music and service every year. They've brought in the late night horn section, which is also the band from the Blues Brothers movie.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, no Jake Noel would.
Okay.
But
I was going to ask.
We're going to have Fred Dawson.
I was going to ask.
Just as good.
Okay.
But we're going to have a sort of a get up out of your seat, toe tap, and dance. And
we're talking about all day. We're talking about an entire day.
Entire day.
Dedicated to the vets.
Dedicated to the vets.
Let me ask you this. Why are you so invested in VetFest, in this? Because I know, my thing is I always like to ask the why, right? Because I see, like, you're very busy. Yeah. You're here, you're there, you're doing this, you're doing that, right? But when it comes to VetFest and your kid's birthday, you are 200% in. Why are you 200% in with VetFest?
When you asked me that question, I welled up and I had to grab a composure because I didn't want to make a fool of myself in front of your audience. But this is a really personal issue for me.
Right.
Once you see this epidemic up front, eyeball to eyeball, you can't unsee it.
Right.
I have sat with Gold Star parents who's the Delaware families, kids who have died on our behalf.
Right.
On our behalf.
Right.
We have delegated our risk to these kids.
That's right.
They've died on our behalf.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, they don't have to know us, right? We don't have to know them. But and again, when you have a child or a friend or a parent that is enlisted into the armed service, you start to see things. You can't unsee it, right?
You can't
see things different.
And so the Gold Star families really struck me with the sacrifice that they made, that their kids made on our behalf. And then I started to meet the parents and family members of the kids that died of suicide, where the war from Afghanistan and Iraq followed them back stateside and chased them all the way to their last breath here. And when I heard their family stories, I couldn't unsee it. Right. Just last week, Delaware inspired an event that happened just last week up on Wall Street, where they raised $500,000 in one dinner to the cause.
For VetFest?
For VetFest.
Get out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ultimately, it goes to Stop Soldier Suicide, the nonprofit. So up pop two women. One, they're both sisters. One woman discusses that she lost her child to veteran suicide.
Right.
Then The ripple effect through the family, she lost another child as a result of the first child's death. But it didn't end there. The sister lost a child because of what happened to that child's cousin. And so again, it's that brutal reminder that these kids, on our behalf, voluntarily step up to stand between us and harm. And the families that support them, if they're going to do that, this is I don't deserve any thank you. This is the least I can do. And what really motivates me is when I get on the grounds of VetFest and I see the hundreds of volunteers. Because look, I am so not unique. Hundreds of volunteers throughout this community have made a decision to take a stand that they are not going to allow this epidemic to put up a fight bigger than theirs. And so they do everything from hand out information to create a parade, to create the 5K, to sell merchandise, to make food, to have the bands, and to give a great big darn hug to the families that have sacrificed for us. That's the least we can do.
No, I really, and speaking on behalf of other parents out here and then just the community itself, we thank you for putting this together and for doing it.
Thank the veterans.
Thank the veterans, it was coming because, you know, again, when you see someone that not said, you know, I'm a volunteer to just go feed the homeless, or I'm going to volunteer. No, I'm going to volunteer the rest of my life for service to make freedom in the United States of America. So again, VetFest is this Saturday.
Saturday, September 28th, starts at 10, 11, and 12, Town of Whitehall. If you go to vetfestdelaware.com, you'll learn all about it.
I love it. So if you can't get to VetFest, make your way to VetFest. Find a way to make your way to VetFest. So actually, we have two 5Ks, right? On the 28th. Community, Claymont Community Center.
Awesome.
And that's early in the morning. That's 8:30 to 10:30 to 10 o'clock. And then also yours in the morning as well throughout the day. So you can have a good exercise day while giving back to the community and giving back to the vets. I love it. Brian, thanks again for coming.
Thank you so much. On behalf of all the volunteers, thank you so much.
All right, before we get out of here,
yes, sir.
That's your camera right there.
Okay.
I want you to give a message to those vets out there that's watching.
Woo! On behalf of all of your fellow Delawareans who are going to surround you for the day at VetFest, we invite you to come out and see that we hear you, we appreciate your sacrifice, and if you come out to the town of Whitehall and enjoy VetFest with us, we're going to give you the biggest darn hug and show our appreciation that you've ever had. VetFestDelaware.com. We'll see you there.
We love it, Brian. Thanks again, bro. All right, it's your main man, Big I. Make sure you check out VetFest, and we'll see you on the other side. But make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video. Don't be stingy. Don't be stingy. Share this video because there might be a vet out there that needs to see this, and it might be a person out there like you that needs to see this. All right, I'll see you at VetFest.